Good morning. Welcome to Reading the Science of Mind in 1 Year. I'm Reverend Rafe Ellis, Senior Minister and Spiritual Leader at the Center for Spiritual Living Common Ground in Central Maryland. Today is June 23rd. And so let's get started listening to our reading for the day, and then we'll go from there. Here we go. Reading for June 23rd, Science of Mind, A Philosophy, a Faith, a Way of Life by Ernest Holmes. Reading from page 280, paragraph 1, through page 281, paragraph 2, using inclusive language. What do we mean by mental equivalence? Prayer does something to the mind of the one praying. It does not do anything to God. The eternal gift is always made. The gift of God is the nature of God, the eternal givingness. God cannot help making the gift because God is the gift. We do not have to pray God to be God. God is God. Jesus revealed the nature of the divine being by his personal embodiment of the divine nature. He said, "As ye believe, it shall be done unto you." The whole teaching of Jesus was based on the theory that we are surrounded by an intelligent law which does unto each as they believe. He implied the necessity of faith, conviction, and acceptance. That is, it must be measured out to us according to our own measuring. We must not only believe, we must know that our belief measures the extent and degree of our blessing. If our belief is limited, only a little can come to us, because that is as we believe. We call this the law of mental equivalence. How much life can any person experience? As much as they can embody. There is nothing fatalistic about this. We are so constituted that we can continuously increase our embodiment. We grow in grace, as it were. We grow in power, and theoretically there can be no limit to that growth. But right today, we can expect to demonstrate or to have our prayers answered according to our belief and the embodiment of that belief. Lowell said, "The gift without the giver is bare." And it is just as true that there can be no gift without a receiver. It is said, "To as many as receive, to them was given the power." We seek to uncover the science of prayer, the essence of the Spirit embodied in it. We find that the essence of the power of prayer is faith and acceptance. In addition to the law of faith and acceptance, the law of mental equivalence must be considered. There are two great laws with which we have to deal, and we shall never get away from either. If prayer has been answered, it is not because God has been moved to answer one person and not another, but because one person more than the other has moved themselves into right relationship with the Spirit or the principle of being, whichever one chooses to call it. Faith, then, touches a principle which responds. We may be certain of this. We should have more faith than we do rather than less. Nor is it foolish to cultivate faith. All prayers will be answered when we pray aright. The first necessity is faith. Faith! But someone may exclaim, "This is what has always been taught. This is nothing new." Correct. We have nothing new. We simply have a new approach to an old truth, a more intelligent, a more systematic way of consciously arriving at faith. This is what treatment is for. All right. So, what I hear in this is the law of reciprocity, right? That I can only receive what I give. I can only manifest what I already believe is present. Why is that? Well, if I don't believe that something can happen, then the vibration in me can't possibly align with the vibration of that thing or event. So I actually stop it from happening by believing that it can't. Um, Early Sunday morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, I rolled over in my sleep, reached for a pillow, and my shoulder literally felt like it exploded on the inside. Now, I'm at choice in that moment. I can instantly write a disaster scenario where I can breathe into the physical pain while holding, creating, imagining, whatever words we want to use here, a mental equivalent that while something physical has happened, something physical healing wise can happen equally as fast. Um, and so I have been holding that mental equivalent that my shoulder knows exactly how to heal itself. Um, and part of the challenge has been navigating the medical knowledge that I have from having had two shoulder surgeries on my right shoulder. And so the brain wants to catastrophize it to that level that, oh no, this is what's happened. And now I'm going to need this and they're going to try this, but it's not going to work, blah, 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 blah. And I'm at choice of whether or not I follow that thinking or whether or not I use spiritual mind treatment to keep changing my thoughts. I'm not changing spiritual thought, I'm not changing creation. I'm changing how I activate substance. I'm changing how I use, how I move consciousness by changing my thoughts. Now, I'm still doing the things in the physical realm that I know to do. I'm still I'm icing it pretty continuously. I'm limiting my use of it, but still moving it so that it doesn't become frozen. Um, I'm taking anti inflammatories and I'm continuously treating my mental equivalent that my shoulder is whole, perfect, and complete and knows exactly how to heal itself. And here it is Tuesday morning, and I can actually do this, which I could not do yesterday. Um, do I live in a physical body that has stuff? Absolutely. But one of the things my physical body has is infinite intelligence in every cell of my being that knows how to heal itself. And in all honesty, what I'm really talking about is a cure, that my body knows how to cure whatever happened in my shoulder. Um, my mind is where the healing happens. The mental picture that I'm holding, seeing my body as whole, perfect, and complete, seeing my shoulders working without restriction, imagining freedom of movement, pain free. See, all of that is a mental equivalent. And so that's where the healing has to be, is in my spiritual mind, what I'm telling myself, the narrative that I'm writing. And every time I do that, there's evidence that proves that it works. And when I don't do it, There's evidence that proves that it works. Because by not believing, I make it not work, thereby proving that it does work. Right? That's kind of how it works. Um, I love that it talks about prayer does something to the mind of the one praying. I love that in this philosophy that we don't have a God that is a vending machine. That there's no external God that decides to reward or punish us. That's a human paradigm. That's not spiritual. That's human. That is restrictive. And it suggests that we're not already worthy, and we are. We were born worthy. We are always worthy. Um, we are infinite possibility in form. We just forget sometimes. I have a friend that uses the term, I have memory and a forgettery. um, and we forget. And so spiritual practice helps us remember the truth of who we are. Um, that if we can imagine it, it's ours. But we have to believe. If we imagine something from the perspective of, I imagine I can't have this, well, then you can't because you've decided that you can't. Not because you're incapable, not because you're unworthy, but because you've decided you can't have it. And then we gripe because we don't get it without ever taking ownership that we decided we couldn't have it. Um, I will wrap up with this somewhere in this book, and I don't have the exact reference. Uh, Ernest Holmes says that you know it's not true that we get everything we want. What we get is what we have the consciousness to create. Um, and what is meant by that is this idea of a mental equivalent. And so I invite you to consider uh, what is it that your heart really desires? What experience are you desiring? How are you, what is alive in you to express, to create, to allow yourself to get the mental equivalent of that? Because it's already in you. We just have to get all of the no-nos out of the way, right? To allow yourself to catch the mental equivalent of how life wants to express as you, and then continuously treat, knowing that it's already done before you see it in form, to know that it's already done and watch what happens. Okay, so let's take this into our time of meditation and contemplation. Here we go. And so in this moment, I recognize that there is one power, one consciousness, one mind, one substance expressing itself, individualizing itself as form, as experience, as everything seen and unseen, known and unknown, visible and invisible, heard and unheard, seen and unseen. One substance that simply desires to express the infinite possibility that it is, that it already is. By whatever name we call it, it is more than a single name. It is life, it is love, it is peace, it is power, it is God, it is Buddha, it is Allah, it is the great mystery, the great spirit. It is all of these and none of these. It can never be encompassed by a single name. It is infinite possibility, the singular substance of creation. And so it is the substance of which I am made. It is the essence of my being. And so I am a portal of this infinite possibility. The desires to express within me are the desire of this infinite beingness to express itself in, through, and as me. And what is true of me is true of all creation. So everything I see, everything I hear, every place I look, everything I experience is this infinite beingness, this infinite substance expressing itself. God experiencing God, life experiencing life, love experiencing love. That each individualized expression of this one is a perfect blueprint of a desire within the infinite to know itself as. So everything that could be needed is already present, waiting to be recognized, waiting to be accessed, waiting for that divine yes to be all that it came here to be. And so I speak my word affirming that I receive, affirming that I hold the mental equivalent of the perfect blueprint of my being, not in detail form, but in concept, in faith that knows that as I believe it, I'll see it. A faith that accepts and welcomes and takes ownership. That I am infinite intelligence in form. That all that I have ever and will ever need to know already exists within me. And by within me, I am recognizing the wholeness of me. Not the individualized me, but the wholeness of me. Me being the creative essence of life. And so the infinite intelligence of one already available. in the many. So I allow myself to become aware, to hold unrestricted mental equivalence, to trust that inner desire to express as the desire of the infinite as me to experience itself as. And I just say yes, knowing that all the details have already been worked out. I don't have to know how. I get to know what. I get to say yes. And then I get to get out of the way and let life unfold itself perfectly as me, as each individualized expression of itself. And so I say yes to this day, to all that it is here to be. Yes, to all that is mine to experience. Yes, that is all of mine to bring to the party today. Yes to it all. Yes. Knowing that I am perfectly equipped, perfectly informed, perfectly supported, perfectly expressed life. That I am a center of the harmonious operation of one. That I am at the core of me, whole, perfect, and complete. And that what is true of me is true of every single expression of life. One, wholeness. So I celebrate. I celebrate the activity of law, that doing part of creation that receives that mental equivalent and responds to it with that sacred holy yes. It puts together all the pieces of the puzzle without knowing the puzzle that it's putting together. It just says yes, it does the thing that it does. So as I move into releasing my word, I do a quick scan and remind my brain that I am releasing all doubt, all fear, and I am releasing any and all human interference to my divinity, expressing fully in form. And I am releasing all the static in my brain that would impede me seeing each and every expression of life as one. I release it all. I release the very idea of duality. And I step into this day seeing one everywhere I look, being one with, consciously, intentionally, on purpose, unifying myself with the whole. Every breath, every thought, every moment. Ashe. Shalom. Aho. Amen. Amen. And so it is. Namaste.